I'm going to switch these two topics in front of it. It's kind of actually one topic in general about why the Bears can't get on and win. And I'm looking at you, Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles, it might be time. My brother came on here on 79 Dallas just then and said he needs to be fired. I don't know if I want to go that far saying he needs to be fired, because I do think that Ryan Poles has done a lot of great things, but he's done a lot of stupid things as well. And if TED Talk Kevin Warren came out and fired Ryan Poles, I would not be upset about it. I will be with it. But he has got to be able to, like, to me, he's looking like every other Bears GM right now. I don't want to hear about tradition. We don't fire people in mid-season. Where has your tradition got you? Oh, we have 9 championships, pre-Super Bowl era. I'm not saying they don't count. My brother had a big argument about that on 79 Dallas about what counts and what don't count. But let's talk about since the modern era. You have 1 Super Bowl. 45 years. That's a fine. Name Porter Dante. But 45 years, 1 Super Bowl. And then a laughing stock again. And you don't want to be out here ruining Caleb Williams. And that to me is where, you know, I'm not saying he should be, but I wouldn't be against it if they did, because something's got to change, bro. Something's got to change. And I think Eberflus is cooked. Eberflus know he's cooked. Now it's about who are you going to get the right guys in there. Go out there and pay a Ben Johnson. Go out there and pay, I don't know, Robert Salah to be a defensive coordinator. Don't go out there and do the typical Bears thing, which would be, let's call Lincoln Riley. Let's go get someone like Jack Del Rio to be our defensive coordinator, which would be peak Bears. Do something right, because I'm fed up with this. You know, I'm blessed to be able to cover the team, but it gets real annoying when they suck. Let's just be real. And the fan base deserves better. You're doing soft counts in a stadium full of your fans. These fans pay money to come out of town, to come out the country to see you, and you continuously smack us in the face. I'm personally tired of it, man. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that. I'm going to go to Bang first, man. What's your thoughts from this game? And do you think it's about time that we need to start looking at Ryan Poles?
Now, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I just want to say, first of all, I just told your ass I've been up since 2. So don't find me for yawning.
Press the mute button, my dog.
I thought I did. That was the point. I thought I did. That's why I was trying to take the mic out. All right, so the Ryan Poles thing, I see the cut of y'all jib. I see where y'all going. I'm not going to do that just yet because there's still questions around why Flus was hired in the first place. Was there a package deal? Was it ownership? Was like pick between these niggas? All of that. It's still that, right? But I'm going directly to Flus. And I had text y'all in the group when I started to see it. And I just felt like watching that game that the team had quit, to the point that I stopped watching the game after the first drive in the second half. Like, I had text y'all, was like, yo, so wait a minute, hold on, Caleb got hurt or something? I legit was not watching the game. I was working. This team last year looked like the worst franchise in sports. Then the back half of the year, they started to rev up and do better and all of that stuff. Had those close games against Detroit. Then end up beating Detroit. Close game against the Browns. End up losing against Green Bay at the end of the year. But with this is why Flus has to go. Like this, when we get to this point, this is why Flus has to go. All offseason long, we heard this. The Bears is the best team to ever have the number 1 pick in the draft. They don't look like a team that deserves the number 1 pick. They finessed the Carolina Panthers. This team is a quarterback away from at least getting to the playoffs. Even with a Caleb Williams getting used to the NFL game with the defense, yada, 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 yada. And even in that that Titans game, they looked like they wet the bed. They looked like they was unprepared. We've been saying all year long, second half adjustments the Bears have been doing good at. But what happened when the people started adjusting against you? But then you get to the Hail Mary, and then a week later, you have a 53-yard rushing touchdown before you end the half. That's when I knew the game was over, and that's when I was ready to stop it. Why? Because that defense was like, damn, we got beat on some shit like this again, but this time it's a run. That team shut down. That team lost, or he lost that team. It's no reason for Matt Eberflus to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. If you want to save face, then don't fire nobody before the season is out. That's cool. But I'm going to say what I said last week, this week. If they wet the bed and they lose to the New England Patriots at home, where they've been decent at home, when was the last time they lost a home game?
I think they've won like 8 in a row at home or something like that.
Yeah, they won like 8 in a row. So if you lose this game at home to not only the New England Patriots, but Drake May, the 3rd pick in this draft, and he looks better than Caleb Williams, Flus and Shane Waldron can pack their bags right now. John Hoke will be the head coach. Eric Washington will be the defensive coordinator. Thomas Brown will be the offensive coordinator. That's not a hot take, because that's when you know you hit rock bottom. Not only your home streak is over with, but you lost to a team which is one of the worst teams in the NFL, one of the worst coached teams in the NFL, and the 3rd pick in the NFL draft.
Definitely, man. Bang, we're gonna get your mic checked out. Your little buzzing in the background, dog. But
that's what I was trying to fix, man.
Dante, man, tell us where you at with it.
I don't think Flus should have made it to this morning. I think he should have been fired in Arizona yesterday. I think we're at a point where we've repeated the same thing, and it was, our biggest fear outside of the offensive line. That's what we all said, having another year with a lame duck coach and a new quarterback, and that's exactly what we're doing. We said we didn't want Caleb to develop bad habits, but guess what he's doing in week 8? Some of the shit we didn't want to see him doing. It's all turning the way we thought we didn't want it to turn, but this was a possibility we all put out there. So right now, I feel like you gotta do in-season fire. You gotta shake this shit up. It's too much of this. Well, we don't do that. That's not our tradition. We don't have a tradition. Our tradition is losing. And let's be honest here. Like, our tradition is being a doormat and a laughing stock. That's what we've been the last. I don't even want to talk about it, but
our entire existence as Bears fans.
Yeah, it's been sporadic success, but for the most part, that's what we've been. So, I mean, you have to see something change. I don't think Ryan Poles should be fired, but I definitely think the head coach and the offensive coordinator got to go. I think I'm at a point with Shane Waldron where it's like I don't expect him to get better. And like I told y'all off air, the reason I said let him be the interim coach, because if you're going after Ben Johnson, he's getting fired anyway. So I don't think you just have him sitting around and just let somebody else be the interim coach. But yeah, man, I'm at a loss of words actually, because of course I was super optimistic coming into it, saying we won 9 games last year. We won 7 games last year, right?
7.
Right, we won 7 games last year. So I'm like, the jump is there if y'all claim that Caleb is as great as y'all say he was. But even with him being a rookie, I should have been realistic. I shouldn't have bought into the whole he's a phenom talk, because everybody has to have their learning curve, and also the offensive line was still the same. We didn't do much change. We went bargain bin shopping. We didn't really invest in that, and that was something
which is what I said, by the way. Y'all call me pussy when I said that.
No, you're right. And don't get me wrong. As much as I love Rome, seeing how many teams in the bottom of the first round got offensive linemen that have been productive and been useful, I will rethink that strategy. But I think it's a situation where we've built our team from the outside in. And Orlando, you're absolutely right. Even if you get Ben Johnson, the O-line not coming with him. So, I mean, you're going to have the same problems. So things may get marginally better, and you may have Cole Kmet get more than 1 target in 2 weeks. But if you can't stop anybody, you're not going to do anything. So, I mean, you have to fix the trenches. And like you said, Brian Post knows that. He has to know that. I'm not even gonna do the whole you used to play O-line because no, like Scott always say, the one picture they show with him and Matt Ryan, he's getting blown up.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it's not a situation where it's like he should just be picking blue chip offensive line talent, but we're at a point where that's what you need. You have to do that, whether you spend the money or you draft it, because Caleb is your franchise. You can't keep having him out here getting hit. Flus kept him in the game. He tweaked his ankle, but he said he's all right. But even with that, it's just stupidity all around, bro. At all.
Shouldn't have been out there.
I know stupidity.
And I know Poles talked to him because Flus said that they asked him, did Ryan Poles speak to him? He was like, well, I'm not going to talk about private conversations. He told you cut that shit. Like, and, you know, like you said, Jonathan, y'all got the LFT in third round. Yeah, like, there needs to be all those picks you got need to be going into the offensive line. Every position not named Darnell Wright, and he's going to probably be out for a couple weeks now with that MCL. It's got to, like, Tevin Jenkins, you're not bringing him back. There's no stability. But it's just typical Bears shit. Like, you can't have a nice house with a shitty foundation, bro. You hit the nail on the head, Orlando. Like, Ben Johnson can come here, and in typical Bears fashion, typical Bears front office fashion, they're gonna expect him to fix everything. You don't have a look at every team that's made the Super Bowl over the last 10 years. Look at the trenches on both sides, the defensive trenches and the offensive trenches. They are elite. The Bears not even okay in that. And until you fix that, it honestly don't even matter who the offensive coordinator is, because, yeah, Ben Johnson gets in his bag and he calls a lot of great plays in Detroit, but Detroit has an elite offensive line that helps Jahmyr Gibbs, helps David Montgomery, helps Jared Goff make the plays that they need to make to have them be the winner that they are right now, man. And
so cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah, we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not